welcome to the episode 19 of the Craft House Magic podcast. Can't believe it's episode 19 already, it's crazy. So thank you so much for joining me and giving me a go, or coming back if you've listened before. So my name's Ellie and I come from Norwich in Norfolk, and it's been such a lovely sunny day today. We've been sitting in the garden doing a little bit of knitting. I'll show you the projects I've been working on a bit later. So you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Craft House Magic, and I've got my website crafthousemagik.co.uk where you can find links to my social media sites. So we've just opened a new Ravelry chatter thread called the Knitting Room chatter thread. And it's self-explanatory. You can come and just chat about all knitty related things or other crafty related things, I don't mind. And it's just a nice place to chat to people and get to know people who are like-minded. So don't forget to join the Ravelry group and to look at the different threads that's going on there. So I open a different thread for every episode, so you can ask questions or talk about things that I've chatted about on the podcast. And I've also got an Ask Me Anything thread as well, if anybody wants to ask me any questions, which I normally answer towards the end of the podcast. But I haven't got any today, so it'd be lovely to have some more if you'd like to ask some questions for the next episode. So today we've got the winners for 2 knit-alongs that we did up until the end of June. So we've got the winners to be announced for the Crafty Knit-along, which I did along with Emma from Eldenwood Craft. So I'm going to announce 2 of the winners, and Emma's going to pick another winner for the prize, which is going to come from her. Okay, so I'll do the prize draw at the very end of the podcast. We've also got the winners for the Little Pleasures KAL as well, so I'll do that at the end. So don't forget to listen if you've entered. Right, so we've got knitting, we've got a little bit of cross stitch, we've got some sewing, and the usual blast from the past, gadget and confessions. I swore I wouldn't buy any more stuff. My house is just filling up. I've also got some information on the shop update too at the end of the podcast. So first of all, I'm going to talk about finished objects in terms of knitting. So I'm saying so rather a lot already. Oh dear. So these are my socks that I knitted out of a sock blank, and the sock blank was from Fine Fish Yarns, and the colourway is called Naked Boys. If anybody knows what this is a reference to, it must be a reference to something, otherwise it's quite random. So this is the colourway Naked Boys, and it's like a pink, shades of pink with speckles of grey once you've knitted it up. And I did the heel in like a purple shade, which I picked out of the colours that are in the sock. And this is a West Yorkshire Spinners colourway. I'm afraid I don't know the number of the yarn, but it's a sort of a muted sort of purple. And I just did an afterthought, well, true afterthought heel. I cut the stitches and just put the afterthought heel in, and it fits really nicely, although they look a little bit silly. Well, they're not on my feet because I've done an afterthought heel. I don't know, it does annoy me when I show these socks to you and they don't lie completely flat. But they still look nice, so there we go. They come out slightly different. On this side they're slightly more purple, I think. There we go. So I finished those, and because they were knitted out of sock blank, the yarn was a bit wiggly, but it has straightened out a lot since I've blocked it. So lovely. So there, another pair of socks ready for winter. And also I finished my socks for the Crafty Knit-along, which the pattern was called Mittens According to Badagak, and this pattern's by Lena Gerard. And there we go, woo! I look a little bit crazy, but never mind. These mittens are so gorgeous, and they're such an easy knit, and I did learn quite a few things while I was knitting them. So before I go into that, it was really cool to find out on Lena's podcast that Badagak actually means like duck, so that's really cute. It's one of her favourite things. So anyway, back on track. So these mittens were knitted in Knit Picks Stroll fingering weight yarn, all except this green colour, which is the Stroll tweed. and they're all really nice yarns. Actually, the tweed though, I did find that the little flecks of, or neps, sort of came out of the yarn quite easily, which isn't necessarily good if you want them to stay in. But I'm quite happy with them without the neps, to be honest. It looks quite sweet, so I'm really pleased with those. They've got a lovely turned over cuff, which makes a lovely neat edge. I know that Emma had decided she liked them unravelled, not sewn in. If you look at her podcast, you'll be able to see what I mean. So yes, they're finished. So I really enjoyed knitting those, and I was going to tell you what I learned when I was knitting them. So on the discussion thread in Emma's in Eldenwood Craft Ravelry group, Emma posted a link to a video that showed how to sew in your ends as you were going along, and loved that method. It took me a little while to sort of get into it and make sure that my stitches were all neat, but once I'd got into it, I really found that useful. So if you were interested in that, if you look in the discussion thread in the Eldenwood Craft Ravelry group for the Crafty Knit Along, you'll be able to find the link. So brilliant. I was just trying to think of something else I learned, but I think that was about it. Yes, so I will go on to my next finished object. So I've got 3 finished objects today, which is absolutely brilliant. And this one's a shawl, and it's massive. You can't actually see me anymore. So this is what I've been knitting for the last 2 months, and it's called the Dying of the Light shawl. And you can see my crease marks where I've had it folded up. But I blocked it out nicely a couple of days ago, and I'm really pleased I finished it, because I was able to enter it into Ruth at Knitterarium's knit along called Just Be You, and the Just Be You knit along ran between the beginning of May and the end of June, and it's part of the year-long knit along that Ruth's hosting, and every 2 months she does a knit along to do with her patterns, and this is one of her patterns, obviously, because I wouldn't be able to enter it otherwise, and I was just able to get it entered there. So I absolutely love this. It's so long and lovely. I suppose I shall be wearing it like this, like I do with my other shawls. It's a little bit warm to wear this today, to be honest, but absolutely gorgeous. The drape in this yarn is beautiful. So the yarn is from Fondant Fibre, and it's called the Velvet Grape, which is the purple colour, well, purpley pink, and the grey is called Sea Holly. So I'll show you again a little bit up close. I thought this yarn was gorgeous when I was knitting with it, but then when I've washed it, oh, it's just absolutely gorgeously soft even more. Absolutely lovely. So I'm really pleased with that. And I shall be wearing that when the weather gets a bit cold. Although I have been prancing around the house in it. Oh dear. Anyway. That's all finished. So lovely. So I'll be able to get on with the other 2 shawls I've got on the needles now. And not cast any more on until I've finished those. So, on to works in progress. So the other day I happened to pick up my Cozy Memories blanket, and I thought, oh, perhaps I'll do another square, because I hadn't done any for a little while before we'd been on holiday. And I ended up doing, I think, 4 squares. So these are the 4 that I've managed to knit, and these are all that I got in a swap with Kelly. Hi Kelly, thank you very much. So these are the lovely yarns that she swapped with me. I shall try and tell you which ones they are. So this one is Coop Knits, and this is quite a nice squidgy puffy yarn with a bit of a nice halo on it. And this one is Elm Tree Yarns in the Georgian collection. This is like a sort of vintage Victorian sort of style colourway, I'd say, with a bit of sparkle in there. This one is Nora George in the Moaning Myrtle colourway, and it's got some lovely purples, pinks and greys in there. Lovely. And this one is from the Wool Barn, and it's called the rose garden, and it really does look like a rose garden. There's little pink and green speckles in there, and they're all lovely and squishy yarns, and I've got a nice bit of stellina in there with this one here, so I'm really pleased about that. So now it's getting to a reasonable size. Yeah, there we go, you can just about see it. What I actually did slightly differently this time is I bought some shorter needles, because the longer 20cm needles were a little bit sort of, they were getting on my nerves being so long, so I got these shorter needles, and on the suggestion of Tilly Trout I got these little stoppers to go on the end so that my stitches don't fall off. Absolutely brilliant. I'm much quicker knitting my squares, so I'm really pleased about that. And it's really cool because you get different coloured ends to your needle stoppers. These are from Clover, I think. I didn't bring the package in, but they're from Clover, and it just enables you to feel which needle you're using, so you can know which side of your knitting you've got. So this is similar to the idea I got from my friend Beverly. Hello Beverly, who said that you can use different needle colours to know which side you are. So great tip. So that's my Cozy Memories blanket. I am sure I'm going to be addicted to knitting this and not want to knit anything else. Because you just think, oh, I'll just try another yarn, it's so lovely. Really enjoying that. So the second work in progress that I'd already started on the last few episodes is this hat. Now this pattern, I better show you the pattern sheet first. So it's the Liguria, and here's a little picture. Sorry about my screwed up piece of paper that I'm using. And it's got this gorgeous brioche patterning on it. I just had to have this. Even though this is going to be for proper wintry evenings or days. I don't know why I said evening. Because it's made out of double knit yarn. I've got myself tangled because I've got two different coloured yarns hanging off here. Let's try that side, it might hang a bit better. So there we go, you can see how the pattern's starting to come out. I did actually knit another, well, about up to there, and I ripped it down to here because I'd got a couple of mistakes on this row, so I thought, you can really see that, I had to rip it out. But I really like the way the stitch patterning's coming out in brioche. I think I might be addicted to brioche as well. I've got no time for anything but knitting now, I don't think. So the yarn is Knit Picks, and it is in the Swish DK. That's the little label. And I've used two colourways. One's called Marble Heather and the other's called Wonderland Heather. So I'm really pleased with these Knit Pick yarns that I've been using lately. So I used the Knit Picks for my mittens according to Badagak as well. So I'm really, I'll definitely order some another time as well. I did have another look for some different sort of colours though, and they don't do all the colours that I really want, but the quality of the yarn seems quite good. Although I haven't actually worn the gloves properly yet, so we'll have to see how they wear. So here's my hat. I think it's probably going to take me quite a little while to do this, because you obviously with brioche you're knitting with two yarns on the same row, so it takes you at least twice as long, and then with a bit of a complicated pattern too. But I'm really looking forward to wearing that and keeping warm in the winter. So that's my second work in progress, and I've also cast on some socks. You can't not have a pair of socks on the needles, because of the fact that all the things that I've got on my needles at the moment are quite complicated. I had to cast on some nice easy vanilla socks so that I can just take them in my handbag and just knit whenever, few rows wherever I can without having to concentrate too much, or if I'm chatting at a knit night or whatever. So this is Knit Picks Felici in the bubble colourway, and I've been meaning to cast this on for ages. Look at those sweet colours, it's so summery. Had to cast those on. So I've just done the cuff, and I'll just be doing some vanilla socks with those. So those are going to be gorgeous. Now that's all the whips I've been working on at the moment. I know I've got a couple more projects I haven't showed you, but I haven't worked on those, so there's no need to, well, it'd be boring if I showed you those again. But I have an idea. I want to do another knit along for sort of summer socks, and I want to call this knit along the summer sock along, where you knit socks that are sort of appropriate for sort of more summertime weather, especially in the UK because you still need socks. So I want the knit along to include shorty socks especially, and also lacy socks as well, in case you don't like shorty socks as well at all. So I'm going to be knitting the Luli's socks, shorty socks with ventilation, which is something I've been meaning to cast on for a little while. I'm going to use this yarn that I got from America. So this is called the Deborah Norval collection, and it's a lovely self-striping yarn with some lovely colours there, and I thought that would be nice to do some little shorty socks with. So I'd like you to come and join me in summer sock alonging. So I'll open a thread in the Ravelry group and I'll put some details about what you have to do. So you obviously have to finish a pair at the end to be able to enter for prizes, which I haven't actually thought about yet, so I will talk to you about that in the next episode. But if you'd like to show your yarn ideas and what patterns you'd like to do, that would be lovely to see those things on the Ravelry group thread. So I'll be opening that before I post this video on YouTube, hopefully. So we've talked about knitting, now it's on to some cross stitch. Gosh, it's getting rather hot in here again. It seems to be really hot just on podcast days. So last time I showed you I was doing this sampler cross stitch pattern, this there, and I've done a little bit more. I'm a bit slow. So I've been doing this centre section of sort of flowers, and I think last time I got to about here on the green bit, so I've done all those little bits there, and I've put in the centre flowers here and the whole of the two colour flowers here and here. So I'm really pleased with how that's coming along. There we go. You can see my little needle keeper from Chapel View Crafts. That's really cute on Etsy. And you saw last week I'd already bought some more stitch markers from her because I was so pleased with this first lot of the stuff I bought. So really pleased with how that is coming out, and I've still managed to keep it relatively tidy on the back. I don't think it's probably the best, tidiest job in the world, but it's not too bad and a lot better than before when I used to do knots on the back of my work. So it's really good tip to know not to do knots on your back of your work. And I can't remember if I mentioned it on the last podcast, but I've been watching Opera Jo, and she was doing some cross stitch as well, and she mentioned about how you can split the threads out of the little group of 6 threads in the yarn hank, not the yarn hank, the floss hank, I suppose they call it. So you cut to a certain length, or I don't know, I can't show you on the screen. You cut your length of thread, and then what I was doing is sort of twisting the 2 threads out of the skein, which actually is relatively quick. But Opera Jo had said that somebody'd actually told her that if you just grab one thread and pull it like this, it comes out easy, and it absolutely works. I'm so excited about that. I shall be doing that from now on. Absolutely so easy to do. So that's my cross stitch. I'm going to hope to get that motif finished for the next podcast, so I can get on to the other things. So that is the motif in the centre just there, here. So there's lots of other little bits and bobs in the middle there, so hopefully I can get one little motif done for each podcast. That would be nice. So cross stitch is done. I've got a little bit of sewing for you this time. So with the magic of technology, Barbara will appear. Ta-da! So this is Barbara with my new top on that I've made. I was going to wear it, but I thought you'd be able to see it better on Barbara, but I'm not quite so sure because it's black. So this is a nice little jersey top that I put together, and it's from this pattern. It's a simplicity pattern, and the number is 1716. I don't know if you can see on the camera. There we go. You can see how I've put it in my little bag, and all the pattern pieces fit in the bag a bit better than the smaller bag, and so I can never get it back in that envelope. So there we go. So I did, which one was it? View E, which is this one here. And I didn't realise at the time actually that this is supposed to be a tunic rather than a shorter top, which I didn't sort of understand from just looking at that picture. But once I'd cut it out, I thought, well, I'll just see if I like it being slightly longer or not. And actually, it's not too bad. I sort of wear it bunched up. But this is a really nice lightweight jersey fabric that I got absolutely ages ago off eBay, so I can't tell you where I got it, I'm afraid. But I really love this sort of saggy neck. It's very, very flattering, and I'm really pleased with this pattern. I might have to make several more of this. So this flouncy sleeves here look absolutely gorgeous on. I love this. So on the pattern it said that I was supposed to just fold over the fabric and sort of top stitch it down to hem it, but I decided to do a rolled hem on my overlocker instead, a very thin edge, so that it would still drape nicely. So I did the same actually with the bottom hem and the hem inside where the neckline is as well, just because I had it on that setting really. So it's actually made of 2 panels on the back there, which you have to sew together, which I'm really pleased with. Oh, sorry, Barbara needs a bit of an oil. So there we are, another stretchy top so I can wear every day. These are the type of things that I like to wear on an everyday basis, and I'm trying to replace my wardrobe with all handmade items. So this is another piece that will be useful. So with the magic of technology, Barbara will disappear. So next is Blast from the Past. So this week I wanted to show you my little crochet needle roll that I made. Oh, this is absolutely ages ago I made this. So it's made of a very fine sort of red liney fabric with some ribbon. I think I actually got this ribbon off like one of those gift bags from a department store or something, and I couldn't waste it. It's absolutely gorgeous. Isn't that cute with the little stitching around the edges? So I just pull this open, and then I have my little roll there which opens out, and then my needles are inside, and I've got one of those gorgeous coloured sets as well as the odd grey one that I had from before, and that is really useful. It just stops them getting lost, keeps them together. I just fold that back together, and then you can just tie it back up again. So that's something that's been really useful that I've made quite a while ago, so I thought that might be nice to show you guys. Definitely worth making something like this to keep everything all tidy, all neat and tidy. And I like to make sure that the bow's nice and neat when I finished. Slightly obsessive behaviour. It's all good fun. Oh, you should see, Adam always laughs at me for putting my pins neat in my pin cushion. He says, "What are you doing? They're just going to be used." Anyway, so that was my blast from the past. Now I'm going to go on to gadget. Now this time it's a knitting related gadget that I've been using. Now where have I put it? It's been buried underneath my shawl. So I bought these a little while ago, and I thought, I'm sure this is just going to be one of those cons where it's just to get you to spend extra money, but I needed one anyway. And they're basically strips of plastic with the pins on. I don't know if you can see. There's multiple pins, so you can literally just block your work onto a mat. Actually, they're really useful. I'm so pleased I've got these. I might need to get another box. There's a smaller size one that they do as well, and there's about 8 of the smaller ones. How many is there of the big? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 big ones and 8 small ones there. This was brilliant. I used it in conjunction with block and wires to block my Diana the Light shawl, and I really found these quite useful. I think especially if you're trying to just do things quickly, this is much quicker. I found that it's a little bit tedious threading the blocking wires through when you've got quite a long edge, but for the top edge I used these and it was really good, so I might get another box of those. Definitely recommend them. I just thought to start with, oh, I can just pin them. It doesn't take that much quicker to, it doesn't make it that much quicker just to pin like 8 at the same time. It does. It's much, I just thought, that was a breeze. I could block like 8 shawls in a row. Oh dear. So moving on, now I'm going to talk about confessions. Okay, so I've brought some new things. I'm so naughty. So I'm thinking about updating my my needle set, my interchangeable needle set. So let's find the packet. I really like my higher sharps for my sock knitting, and I thought, well, I could get an interchangeable needle set in the sharps range that I can use for lots of other larger projects as well. So I was going to get the small set, which runs, oh, I can't think what the size range is, but the main sort of sizes I use are sort of 3.5, 4, 5mm needles, and that's the smaller range for the higher sharps collection. So I bought a set of just one set of needles for the interchangeable and a cable, which I'm going to use a test out to see whether I like it, because I heard Kay from the Bakery Bears said that the transition there catches for her a little bit, and I have issues with my knitting catching on the transition, so I just wanted to try one set before I invest in a whole like massive set of different needles. So we'll have to see. I'll let you know how I get on and whether the transition for me is a problem, but I'm not quite sure. It's difficult to tell when you're just looking at them and feeling them. They do sort of they downsize here and then they downsize here again. So whether that actually helps or hinders, I don't know. It depends on how I knit, I suppose. So we will see how I get on with that. So I bought the 100cm cable for sort of shawls and things, and I was going to transfer my Gonyev shawl from my Knit Pro Nova Silver set of needles onto those to see how I get on. So we'll see. I shall let you know. I also bought this great big thing. I haven't tried it yet, but I shall let you know how I get on. But it's basically, it's for sort of cross-stitch and embroidery, where you have, this is like a metal board with a little stand, like a picture you can stand up, with these magnets. I'm breaking it at the back here by moving the little... I'll show you what I've done in a minute. These magnets just stick on there, and you can put your piece of paper and mark where you are on your pattern. This I could use for my knitting or my embroidery or whatever. I think that would be ideal. And I've noticed actually if you squeeze these handles together, you can remove the back off, which is quite handy. Not when you're trying to show it on a podcast though. Oh, and the little DNC symbol's a magnet as well. I've just noticed. How cute. So that's going to be really useful. I know that Naomi was telling me that she'd got a different, a similar sort of thing, what to mark her part on a knitting pattern, and I thought that I could use this for lots of different things, so similar idea. But thanks for letting me know about that gadget, Naomi. That was really cool. So I'm trying not to clang now because this is made of metal. I also bought, well, I saw that there was an update. Deb's got an update on Fun and Fibre, and I didn't need any yarn. But when I saw this, I thought, oh my goodness, I need this. So this is absolutely gorgeous. So it's called Sentimental Journey, and it's got some gorgeous pale pink and natural parts and some little speckles of green and black in there. Absolutely gorgeous. Let's move that along a bit. But look at it. Oh. So this is on the Austin base that Deb does. I'll just put it in front of my face, that's better. So this is the Austin base, and it's merino, cashmere and nylon. I can't tell you the percentage because it's not printed on the label, but it's 350 metres in 100 grams, so that's really going to be lovely. I figured that because I've just ordered one skein that it'd probably be a pair of socks, but it is gorgeous. You could do a shawl with this as well, really lovely, so I'm really pleased I got myself a skein of that. And I also ordered a lovely bag from Deb as well at Fondle Fibre, and it's a lovely nice big size bag with little birds on. How cute is that? And I thought that since I'd ordered so much for myself that I should probably give this away for a giveaway. We'll see if I have to keep see if I change my mind. We'll see. I don't know. I need to decide on the prizes for the summer sock along, so I'll let you know whether that'll be one of the prizes. It'll certainly be. I've got, if you remember, lovely Kelly sent me some mini skeins from her shop Lakeside Yarns. Those will be a prize for that knit along, so hopefully you can join in. So that was my confessions. See, they're not too bad. Oh dear. So, we didn't, like I said earlier, there was no Ask Me Anything, but if you have any more questions, if you pop it in the Ask Me Anything thread in the Ravelry group, I'd be happy to answer any normal questions within reason. And we've just got shop update and the KAL winners to go next. So I'll just quickly run through the information about the shop update, and then we'll do the winners for the knit alongs that are just finished. So shop update is going to be on Tuesday, and I've got some bags that are all in a sort of floral theme, so I'm going to call them the Summer Bloom collection. I'm getting all posh here. So I did actually make one of these before, but I've added some ribbons to the zip because I think it looks really sweet. I've got in this set the lining is a cream Egyptian cotton instead of the whites that I sometimes do, so it's got my little label in there, and I always put a little pocket in my bags just because I think it's really handy to be able to pop like your ball band in there and one or two things like your scissors or whatever, so that's really nice. So these are all going to be they're sort of sock size. If I just expand it a bit, you'll be able to see it a little bit better. So that's the sort of size you're getting. So I've put a nice little purple ribbon on this because I thought that went nicely. We've got some bright pink and blue flowers there with a nice bright pink ribbon as well. I've also been putting the little progress keepers as like I usually do on there as well, so I think that's really sweet. Again, that's the same inside and label. All these have actually got the same inside, so there's no need to really show you. So I've got a lovely sort of mustardy greeny colour with a nice blue ribbon that goes with the little blue flowers inside that fabric. That's really sweet. And then we've got a navy with like a mustard yellow, and the same with a mustard yellow little ribbon. And then there's a blue, I think this is my favourite, lovely pale blue with the yellow centres and a nice blue ribbon there just to brighten up. So those will be going in the shop on Tuesday the 4th of July. July? That's crazy, it can't be July. And I'll do the shop update at 7 o'clock, and that'll be British summertime, if you need to work it out for other countries. So I hope you can get one if you like one. So that's the shop update dealt with. Now we've got the knit along prizes. So first of all, I'm going to talk about the Little Pleasures knit along, and thank you so much to everybody who joined. I think there was nearly 200 entries in there. It was absolutely fantastic, so I'm so sorry if you don't win, but I've got 3 winners that I can give prizes to, and thank you so much for everybody joining in though. There were so many different things like teddy bears, socks, shawls, jumpers, all sorts. So if you're interested in seeing some lovely different patterns, just go and look at the finished objects thread. Absolutely lovely. Thank you so much for joining. So the first winner, and now this is going to be the winner of the bag that the lovely Annie sent me. So oh I've just filled it with some bubble wrap in there so you can see what it looks like when it's completely full. But there's some lovely cakes on the bag, and inside there was some lovely stitch markers, and it comes with a big pom-pom. So that was from Annie, and actually she did tell me where it was from originally. I'll pop down here the original name of the shop if you want to go and check out her shop as well. So the winner of this bag is post number 85, and it's Pink Lime Crafts. So congratulations, Sharon. I know Sharon's been posting in the discussions threads before, and she's from Cheshire in the UK, and she knitted a really lovely granny square blanket, absolutely massive, so she definitely deserves to win a prize. So that'll be going to you. Thank you so much, Sharon. For the second prize, well, it's not second prize, it's just the next one. It's this lovely book that Anne also sent me. Thank you so much. Now this is going to go to post number 127, and that is Knitting Counts, and that's Terry from Indiana in the USA. Well, congratulations. So she knitted some little shorty socks which she's called mitten socks, which I think is really cute. I'll pop a picture here. So the last prize is these lovely mini skeins from Rainbow Cloud Shop. They're the postcard from Rio colourway, and these will go along with one of my sock size bags. So the winner will be able to contact me and let me know what sort of prints that they would like, and then I will make one especially for them. So the winner is post number 2, and it's Pam Dunga on Ravelry, who's Pamela. Thank you so much, Pamela, for entering. Congratulations. And she knitted the sock pattern that I designed called To Love and To Cherish. So thank you so much for knitting those. So thanks again for everybody for joining in. It was absolutely lovely knit along. So brilliant, because there was so many things that you could enter, such a variety of things that we could chat about, so it's brilliant. So that's the Little Pleasures KAL prizes sorted. We still have the Crafty Knit Along prizes to give out. Like I said earlier, I'm going to say the names of 2 prize winners, and then Emma from Eldenwood Craft will give the name of the 3rd prize winner, who will be getting her bag. For the first of these prizes, we'll be giving away a lovely skein of the Bad Wolf Girl Studios yarn, which is in the Gryffindor colourway. Absolutely lovely on a sparkle base. This was donated by lovely Meg when I ordered some yarn, when I had it posted to America. So, sorry, off topic. So this will go along with one of my bags, and I will speak to the person who wins, and they can tell me what sort of print they like, and this will be a sock size bag as well. And the winner is post number 6, and that's Em's Little Nest. So thank you, Emma. You actually had a lovely pair of mittens, which I'll pop a picture here. And Emma's from New Zealand, so congratulations, Emma. So for the next prize, lovely Ruth from Knitterarium had donated one of her patterns. So I'll put you in contact with Ruth at Knitterarium, and she'll be able to send you a pattern. So the winner is post number 7, and this is Nanny Jane, who's Jane. So congratulations, Jane. So Jane's from Kent, and she did some lovely purple mittens, which I'll show you a picture of here. So congratulations to everybody. Don't forget, if you did join the Crafty Knit Along with the finished objects thread, don't forget to watch Emma's podcast, because she'll have one more winner there. So you could be a winner. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again in the next episode in about 2 weeks. Hopefully the weather stays nice. Well, we've had quite a few days of horrible weather, so I don't know. I can't hold out hope. Have a wonderful 2 weeks. Bye!